Charlotte Brontë dipped her pen into the inkwell and dabbed it on a blotter. For a long moment she held it over the blank page, waiting. She was writing the final scene of a story, and she wanted it to be transcendent. On the other side of the desk, her brother Branwell was scratching away. His spectacles sat folded in front of him, and he was bent double over his paper, his eyes only an inch or two away from the words. When Branwell couldn't get a scene right, he simply went on to the next one, and the next, and the next. Half his page was covered already, she noticed with disgust, and he was writing with his left hand too. Her brother wrote equally well with either hand, but he chose the left only when he was writing about Alexander Rogue, his magnificently wicked villain. "Remember," Charlotte said, "you're not to kill off any of our characters without my consent." Rogue had a nasty habit of duelling with Charlotte's favourite people. "I had plans for Count Roderick." Branwell shrugged, drawing a red blanket closer around his shoulders. "Pompous nincompoop. He deserved to die like a dog." "He was mine. I was going to have him woo Lady Constance." Her brother smirked. His pen hadn't slowed its speed throughout this exchange, and Charlotte felt suddenly daunted by the sheer volume of words it produced. Scribble mania, Branwell called it. She got up and closed the window against the damp. Below her in the churchyard, the gravestones were vague and indistinct, coming in and out of view as gusts of wind swept the mist across them. Her father's church, which was just beyond, had disappeared, enveloped by the fog. On her return to the desk, she tripped over the heavy muller Branwell used to grind his paints. She pushed it into a corner with her foot and sat down again. "Your attempts to annex this room for your own use have not gone unnoticed," she said. They were in the children's study, as they had always called it, a small upstairs room with no fireplace. Half a dozen of her brother's unfinished paintings sat on easels or leaned against the walls. His bed was pushed up into a corner, and his wooden paint box lay open by the desk, spilling out brushes and packets of expensive pigments ordered from Leeds. Branwell gave a loud barking laugh, slapping his hand on the desk, seemingly delighted by one of his own turns of phrase. Charlotte clenched her teeth, sure he was purposely ignoring her. She had missed her brother when she was away at school, had waited eagerly for his letters. But now that she was home for good, everything about him vexed her.